If your dining room table is ever feeling empty after the holidays, pool noodles from Dollar Tree make for an easy fix. The first thing I'm doing is taping these pool noodles together in 4 different areas to create stability. I'm establishing my base layer of florals by spreading the stems sporadically throughout the noodles. Now it is time to add the main focal piece, but before I do that, I need to add 2 cable tie mounts to the top and the bottom of the sign so I can attach my pipe cleaners and floral stake. Here it's as easy as taking the sign and directly placing it into the pool noodles, securing it with some hot glue. On the back side, I'm placing another one to give it that full watermelon shape and allow your design to be double-sided. To ensure the sign doesn't wobble, I'm placing stakes in between to secure it. Now I'm going to be adding those larger florals from the previous bouquet evenly throughout the design. On each side of the sign, I'm placing 2 medium bows. Before making this bow, I'm first going to start with making a dovetail. To start the bow, I'm going to first make a dovetail. Then I'm going to make 2 loops on one side and 1 on the other. Each loop and tail will be 6 inches in length. For the next 3 ribbons, we're going to be repeating this process. The bow is then going to be secured in place by the pipe cleaner. To fluff the bow, the loops will be separated from the tails to make it more full. Now that the bow is fluffed, I'm going to attach it using the pipe cleaners. Now I'm going to make 2 small hand bows using the 1.5 inch ribbon and attach them to the front of each sign. I'm taking this floral stem and cutting it into 2 pieces and filling it in where you can see the pool noodles. With the design filled in, the last step I need to do here is to add some florals between the 2 signs to give it that little extra fullness and to fill in the gap. And voila, a wonderful piece that you can add to your table, fireplace, in any other area, or even float it in your pool. Thank you for joining us today. I am Ronnie Huffnagel from Roots of Joy, and I look forward to seeing you again on Hometalk.
Today we're working with pool noodles. First you want to cut the pool noodle in half. Right here is the middle. So we're going to cut this in half, just like that. Now you've got 2, and then we're going to do the same thing to the blue. Cut it right there. Now we're going to slit them right down the center. So I'm going to cut it literally. Now this time I am going to cut all the way through, right to the center, just like that. And then we're going to fold our noodle open like this. I have a shorter piece of the pool noodle that I'm going to cut in half, and I'm going to use as my base to create my raft. So I'm going to cut this all the way through. You cut that, okay, and then I'm going to turn these upside down, and I'm going to attach these just like that to create my raft. So I want to have my flat surface against this, the open side, so I'm going to put my glue, and again this is cool melt, so it's not super hot. Put your glue on your noodle, and then you're going to place that just like that. Okay, so now I'm attaching the second piece. I'm going to go and make sure that I've got enough glue. It's a little harder for the glue to come out when it's cool melt, but again, you don't want it on high, because if it's on high, it will totally melt the noodle. We don't want to do that. And we will insert our third piece and do the same thing. So now I am just repeating the same process. I am putting the glue on the back side of the noodles, and I'm going to attach my support. And now we're going to do this, and we're going to hold this until it dries. Okay, our glue is dry, so now I'm going to trim off the ends of my support pieces, and then I'm going to trim the ends. And I think the best way to do this is to turn it over and to use some kind of a straight edge. I'm using a ruler to get a straight cut to trim the ends of your raft. So we are now going to put a tray on here, and we're going to decorate it. Now I'm going to decorate it. I'm using some faux lemons. You can see that I've just poked the little stem through the seam of the noodles. I'm going to place my tray on here so I know where my tray is going, and then I'm going to poke my other one through on this side, just like that. Now, I've got one flip-flop already attached, and I'm going to show you. I just simply put some glue on the side, and I just want my flip-flops to look like handles. And I'm going to attach my flip-flop just like that. I've got my pitcher of water, and I've got 2 cups of ice. And we're going to slice up a lemon and add that to our water. So I've slit this piece of pool noodle down the center, and I'm going to cut 4 7-inch slices. So just take your marker and your ruler and mark every 7 inches. And then we're going to use a kitchen knife, a serrated knife, to cut our sections. And it's quite easy. Just line it up with your mark and then just go back and forth, and it cuts quite nicely. So next you want to put your cut ends in the center together and glue them together. You want to use a cool melt glue gun because you don't want the glue to melt the pool noodle. And if it's too hot, it will. So just make a nice line or 2 of hot glue right where we cut that seam, and put 2 of them together like this. Then we're going to put 1 on either end. So we're going to do the same thing. Actually, you just need to do it in the center. You don't need to do it the whole length of the noodle. And just glue one end on, and then we're going to do the same thing with the second piece. We're going to glue, we're making a mini raft. We're going to glue that on, and then you want to hold this until it's dry. Okay, now that you've let this dry really well, put your cup in the middle that you're going to use, draw a circle, and then we're going to take a serrated knife. I have a very large knife. You don't necessarily need this big of a knife. And you want to cut, but you don't want to cut all the way through. You just want to go through to the center and cut in your circle. When I cut that seam in the center, it worked really well because then you can just remove this piece and then insert your cup and you're ready to float. We are going to cut 2-inch sections of our pool noodle, so approximately here. And I like to use a big serrated knife and just cut straight. And then just take this one, and you can measure approximately where you need to be. And you need to have 7 of these. So this is how we're going to get our flour. We're going to have 1 in the center and 6 around the outside. Now we are going to use these little battery operated tea lights, and we're going to place it on the top using an X-Acto knife. You want to cut all the way around, going all the way down. Okay, once you've gone all the way around, you can see how it's loose here. I'm just going to pull it down and then cut that small piece out of my noodle. Just like that. And then your candle will fit in there just like this. Now we have all of our pieces cut and our candles are all put inside. Now there's plenty of room so the water should not hit the battery. You can put a piece of saran wrap under the votive if you choose. But now I'm going to connect them. I'm using a hot glue gun, but it is on a low temperature because if you use a high temperature, it really melts the pool noodle. So just use the low heat hot glue gun and place it onto the center one. Now the second one you want to do in the center, and you want to do it on the side, and then attach that one. And we're going to go all the way around. Now, like I said, I have a big rubber band in my hand, and I'm going to put that around here and let this dry. If you need to put a little dab of glue in between anywhere, it's best to do that when the rubber band is on, because the rubber band will hold this together quite nicely, as you can see. So our candles are done now. So you want to remove the rubber band, and they're all dry, and then once it's dark, we will turn our candles on and float them in the pool.